Hey, I'm Becca with the Happy Ever Crafter, and this is my calligraphy and lettering gift guide. So whether it's for Christmas, which is coming up at the time that this video goes live, or if you're watching this later in the year and it's for some other type of gift, feel free to forward them this video or watch through it yourself and take notes of what items you might want to grab. So I'm going to walk you through my top 10, and actually there are 11. So if you watch to the end of this video, I'm making an announcement of a super special product that I am releasing pretty soon, and I can't wait to share it with you. So let's jump right in. By the way, just before we jump into all of these items, I do want to mention that the links to all of them are going to be in the description of this video down below. And I also have a 50-page supplies guide that goes way above and beyond all the stuff I'm going to mention in this video. So if you want more supplies and my recommendations, you can definitely check that out too, and I'll link to it down below as well. Alrighty, jumping right in, number 10 on my list are these ECOLINE liquid watercolors. So these don't always come in a pack like this. You can buy them individually and pick and choose whichever colors you want. But I really like buying the pack because it's got all the basic colors that you would want to use. And these are, like I said, liquid watercolors. Mind the paint that I've got on the top of these. I sometimes use them as a palette. They're liquid watercolors and they're great for blending your lettering. And I've got a couple videos on that up here if you want to watch. But these are my favorite for blending. They work really well because they're really, really nice and like saturated, and they blend wonderfully together. They're also not the most expensive liquid watercolors you can get. They're not super cheap, but they're not the top of the line. I just find that they're perfect for like a medium priced and really beautiful blend. So those are liquid watercolors and they're called ECOLINE, and those are number 10. Okay, number 9, along the same lines as the liquid watercolors that I just showed, you obviously need a paintbrush to work with liquid watercolors or any watercolors at all. These are Princeton snap brushes, and they are round, and round is the shape you want to do lettering with. So that's what these are for. I've got a bunch of different sizes here. These are kind of the standards that I use. I have 10, 4, 2, and 0. Obviously, the smaller the number, the smaller the brush tip. And they're just really great. They hold their tip really nicely. They're not super expensive, and they're by far my favorite that I've ever tried in terms of brushes. So Princeton Snap, number 9 on my list. At number 8, we have the Bistro chalk markers. These are what I use for guidelines and sometimes even for lettering on windows and mirrors and chalkboards and all that kind of stuff. They're chalk markers, so they come off pretty easily. They're not super permanent, and they're great to use for guidelines. I've got lots of tutorials on all of that stuff that you can check out. But Bistro is my favorite brand. They come in this chisel tip, lots of different sizes. So chisel tip or bullet tip, so you can also find it in this shape, this bullet tip, depending on what you want to use more. And then again, it comes in different sizes. So there's really huge ones, there's really tiny ones, lots of different options. Usually I buy these at Michael's, but you can also find them on Amazon. So number 8 is Bistro chalk markers. Number 7 are MOLOTOW markers. These are acrylic paint markers. And again, you can tell that I always am doodling on any plasticky surfaces like this. But packs of MOLOTOW markers are really great. I find that these paint pens come with the most versatile colors. They're not like just the super bright red, blue, yellow kind of colors. They're like really nice and muted. There's a ton of different colors in these ones, and they all come in different sizes too. So if you look at any of my free ones, there's just this smaller size and a bigger size. And in fact, this one actually has 2 ends on it, which I find really helpful when I'm working on a job. I can just have one pen for 2 different sizes. And the other thing that I really love about MOLOTOW markers is that they're refillable, and so you can twist the top off and you can actually buy different refills of whatever color you need, and you can just squeeze it into the bottle, so you can take that tip right off and refill them, which is great. It's a little bit more environmentally friendly than throwing out markers every time you need a new one. And the other piece that I really like about MOLOTOW is you can buy empty ones and fill them with whatever color you want, and you can also just buy tip replacements, so you can buy different size tips and refill them that way and keep using them. And so it's a lot more environmentally friendly, but I also just love the way that these markers work. They're a lot more opaque than a lot of different paint pens you'll find. And again, they come in really beautiful colors. So what number are we at? Number 7. Number 7 is MOLOTOW. Number 6 is my UNI-BALL SIGNO or SIGNO, however you want to say that. I am never sure how this is pronounced. This is a gel pen, but it's one of the most opaque white gel pens you'll find, and it's really nice for adding embellishments to your work and working on darker papers. It's one of the only ones that I've ever found that is actually not gonna get, like, you know when you use a white marker or white paint on black paper and it kind of, the black sucks it in and it gets duller. This one actually sits really nicely on top of paper and stays really nice and bright white. It also works really beautifully on top of other ink and other pens and stuff like that. So this is definitely my favorite white pen. So number 6, the UNI-BALL SIGNO or SIGNO, however you want to say that. Number 5 are my PIGMA MICRON pens. So MICRON pens are not brush pens, they're just monoline pens, but they come in tons of different sizes. So I've got 01, 08, 05, 03, and I've also been really enjoying this size 1 lately. This is a much thicker one, just for like bolder lines and stuff like that. I really enjoy that one. So Micron pens are really, and they're also archival. So if you use them on things that you want to last for a long time, they're not going to fade, and they work really nicely underneath any water. Like if you're going to put watercolor mixed with your Micron pens, they're not going to bleed everywhere. So that's what Micron pens are really wonderful for. Plus they come in lots of different colors, but I usually only use black, and they're just a really nice dark rich black, and I love the different sizes of all the tips, so you got lots of options. Number 5 is Micron pens. Number 4 is marker paper, and this is Canson marker paper. This is what the cover of it looks like. It's just this purple cover, and it doesn't have to be Canson marker paper. You can use whatever marker paper you like, but I love to recommend marker paper for working with brush pens or even with watercolor sometimes. It's just a really nice and smooth paper, and it's semi-transparent or translucent. So if you put it over top of guidelines, you can still see through it, which is really wonderful when you're practicing. And I also just always use guidelines in all of my lettering. So if you don't want to have to draw it on or use a laser level or anything, this is a really, really great type of paper to have. So marker paper is number 4. Number 3 is Rhodia paper. So again, you want to always use nice and smooth paper when you're working with brush pens or even with pointed pens or watercolor or anything like that. And this paper also comes with grid format or dot format on it. So you can see here, this is made up of little grids, and you can also buy it with dots so that you can still have a guideline, but it's not super obvious. And it's just a really great way to practice with those guidelines. So Rhodia is a really high quality, good paper that'll work well with your brush pens. So that's number 3. Number 2 is everyone's favorite Tombow dual brush pens. So these are obviously, they come in a million different colors. And this is a stand. This is a set that you can buy with this pretty stand here that'll hold them all. You don't have to buy them like this. You can buy them in packs of 12, or you can buy them individually. Lots of different options. You can buy whatever colors you want to get. But dual brush pens are really good for big work. If you want to write bigger, or if you want to do any blending with your lettering, these pens blend really nicely together. And the cool thing about them is that there's 2 ends. So one end is a brush tip, and it's nice and flexible. It'll give you some big juicy lettering. And the other end is just a felt tip brush or felt tip pen. So this one would be used for like embellishments and stuff like that, not necessarily for brush lettering, but just to do fun stuff, fun little techniques on top of your brush lettering. So Tombow dual brush pens are number 2. And number 1, I think if you've been following me for a while, this will be no big surprise, is the Tombow FUDENOSUKE. Never know if I'm saying that right. But this pack is usually what you'll find on Amazon or in the art stores. This has 2 different sizes of Tombow FUDENOSUKE. These are my favorite small tip brush pens, and they're just black. But these barrels will be a little bit slightly different colors because they are different sizes. So the smaller, or the blue one is a FUDENOSUKE hard tip, and it's a little bit easier to use as a beginner. And then the greenish gray one is a soft tip, and it's just slightly more soft, and usually the softer the pen, the harder it is to use as a beginner. It's really hard to tell a difference in these if you don't know what you're looking for, and so either of them are great for beginners. I recommend just buying both and seeing which one you like a little bit better. And yeah, they're definitely what I use like 99% of the time on my own work. So the Tombow FUDENOSUKE is number 1. Now don't leave though, because I have one more bonus that I want to show you. I said I would show you 10, but I'm actually going to show you 11. So if you've been around with me for a while, you might remember that I have in the past had brush pens for sale. These are my branded brush pens. These are a project that I did with Zebra Pen, and we made Brush Pens Favorites pack. So this has a bunch of my favorite brush pens in it. And again, if you've been around, you might remember that last time I put these on my website, they sold out within 3 hours, which is insane. And I have finally gotten them back in stock. So this is kind of half of the announcement that I'm making as the bonus 11th thing on this list. But the other half is that there's actually a brand new set now. So in the spirit of the holidays, I've created another set with Zebra that has silver, gold, red, green, and black. These are great for decorating cards and all of that kind of stuff. And both of these are going to be back in stock on my website on Black Friday. So if you're interested in any of this, you might want to get on it quickly as soon as they're available, because like I said, they sold out so fast last time. And so the link is down here. It's the happyevercrafter.com/brushpens. If you're looking at this before Black Friday, you can go and be on the list, and I'll email you as soon as they're available so you have first dibs on them. Or if you're watching this on Black Friday or after Black Friday, this is the link where you can go directly to buy them. So that is bonus number 11 on my list of whatever this is.